This is a Dell Dimension 4600 desktop computer. Now, I actually got this machine from someone who was actually about to throw it away, and for what it is, it's a pretty nice system. So, let's start by giving you an overview of it. So up at the top here we have two optical drive bays, each of which is occupied by a drive. The top drive here is a standard CD-ROM drive. Below that is a DVD burner drive, a super drive. Below that we have a 3.5-inch floppy disk drive. Right here we have the Dimension 4600 logo with a power button in the middle of it, along with a power and hard drive activity LED. Below that we have the Dell logo. Right there we have an air intake vent. And on the very bottom of the system we have two USB 2.0 ports and an audio output. And of course next to that we have the Windows XP and Intel Pentium 4 hyper-threading stickers there. So let me go ahead and move the machine around to the back and show you the ports. Alright, so on the back of the machine here we have the power supply on the top with the standard power input there. On the motherboard I/O we have a serial port, a parallel port, VGA port, two PS2 ports for the keyboard and mouse, and now below this we have actually a flap covering the onboard audio ports. Now the reason these are covered is because this machine actually came factory installed with a add-in sound card, specifically a Sound Blaster Audigy 2 card, which I'll show you in a second. So they block off the audio ports, so you use the sound card instead of the onboard audio. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that back. Below that we have 6 USB 2.0 ports and a 10100 Ethernet port that might be gigabit Ethernet. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, it's an Ethernet port. Below that we have a ATI Radeon X1650 graphics card. Now this actually wasn't factory installed. I actually installed this card because it was one I had spare that I had actually purchased from Goodwill for $5, and it is a pretty decent card for being an AGP card, so it's a pretty decent upgrade for this machine. Below that we have an ATI TV Wonder, or no, what am I saying? It's a WinTV PVR 150 PCI capture card. I actually got this from Goodwill as well for $5, and went ahead and put it in here because I can use this for a TV capture PC or streaming PC if I decide to do so. Below that we have the Sound Blaster Audigy 2 card, which has 7.1 channel outputs, as well as a FireWire port. I'm not exactly sure if that's like fully fledged FireWire or not, or if it's something simply for an audio interface of some sort. Yeah, I'm not really sure if I can use that for like a FireWire drive or camera or something. But anyway, that's the back of the system. Here's the main CPU cooler fan. So let's go ahead and turn the machine to its side and open it up. Let me just go ahead and put the camera down real quick and open that up. Alright, so I've gotten the machine open, as you can see, and we can get a good look inside. So as you can see, this machine actually includes two hard drive caddies, and yes, as you can see, it is quite dusty. I do need to clean it, as I said. So yeah, up here we have the power supply. Up there we have the two optical drives and the floppy drive. Now I actually unplugged the floppy drive because I needed to use its power connection for the graphics card, as you can see, because this is a fairly beefy graphics card and it does require external power. So under this fan shroud here, go ahead and open it, we have the main CPU cooler. Now this is of course covering the 2.8 GHz Intel Pentium 4 hyper-threading CPU. It does need to be cleaned, as you can see there, and I will do that soon, but it works just fine for just a bit of testing. So right here we have the ATI Radeon X1650 graphics card. You can't really see it that well, but the heatsink for it is right here. You can also see the VRAM chips on the bottom of the card, as well as another chip over here. I actually believe this is the frame buffer chip. I'm not 100% sure, but It is covered with like a little pink sticker, which is kind of strange. Anyway, under that we have the WinTV PVR150 card, and on the very bottom we have the rather large Sound Blaster Audigy 2 card. Now on the motherboard here we have the memory right there. It takes DDR400 memory, and the Northbridge heatsink right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get this machine hooked up to a keyboard, monitor, and mouse, and we'll go ahead and power it up and give it a test. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I've now gotten the machine hooked up to a keyboard, mouse, and monitor. So let's go ahead and power it up. Now this is running Windows XP Media Center Edition 2005, so I figured that was a decent OS to put on this machine. I may upgrade it to Windows 7 in the near future though. So yeah, let's just wait for it to start up. And while it's starting up, I'll go ahead and give you the specs of the machine. Like I said earlier, this machine has a 2.8 GHz Pentium 4 hyper-threading CPU. It has 1.25 gigabytes of DDR memory, and I believe the graphics card has about 512 megs of video memory. I'll have to check that when we get into the operating system. But yeah, it is a Radeon X1650, like I said earlier. Alright, so the machine is mostly booted. Now for some reason this install of XP has this weird glitch that I've actually had with a couple different machines, where you can't actually do anything on the machine for like a couple minutes or so until once, like, it's kind of weird, like a service doesn't load till like 1 or 2 minutes after the system is actually fully booted, so you actually have to wait until that service loads to actually do anything on the machine. I think it's just a glitch with the copy of XP I used, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure. So let's just wait until that comes up. You'll see when it comes up, it'll show a little thing down there, and then you can start using the machine. So let's just wait a second. It does take a while. It's kind of annoying. I'm not exactly sure why. So, like I said, and there it is. As you can see, it loaded the network connection and the little security thing telling me my antivirus software isn't installed. So let me go ahead and give you a little view of the machine. Let's go into my computer properties. As you can see, it is Windows XP Media Center Edition, the Pentium 4 2.8 GHz CPU, and 1.25 gigabytes of RAM. Let's go ahead into Device Manager. You can see the Radeon X1650. Network adapters, it does only have a 100 megabit Ethernet connection. I wasn't sure if it was gigabit or only 100 megabit, but it is indeed only 100 megabit. It detects both virtual cores of the CPU, or one physical core and one virtual core, I should say. It does see an IEE 1394 controller, so that must be the FireWire port on the sound card. Disk drives, it has a Seagate drive. It's an IDE drive, as you saw on the machine. Let me go ahead into display properties and let's see how much video memory this card has. It is 512 megs, so I was right. So this is a 512 meg graphics card. This isn't it's not a bad card for the $5 I paid for it, and being AGP, that actually is quite beneficial to older machines. So that is a machine. I think the drive is 160 gigs. No, it is actually only 80 gigs, my bad. So it does have an 80 gig Seagate hard drive. So yeah, that's the machine. That is the Dell Dimension 4600 desktop computer. So I'll go ahead and shut it down. So that is the Dell Dimension 4600 desktop computer. Hope you enjoyed this video.